Town Square Media Station, WTUG HD2 Northport, and W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide WTUG HD2 Northport and W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. A Town Square Media Station.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and I run it back coach didn't take it. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. The Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show can also be found on the Martin Houston Radio Network on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter under Martin Houston Speaks and M. Houston Speaks. Go check us out. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Share us with family and friends. Tell them about what's happening each and every day right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We're live, local, and ready to get things going. What's on your mind has to be the Crimson Tide and what's happening around the transfer portal and others. And so I want to ask you what you want to talk about. We will invite you to join us on that conversation on the Alabama One hotline at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline, live, local, and ready to get things going on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Reminding you that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Challenging you to get in, up, and at them. All right. The playbook for today can include recruiting and the transfer portal. More news from Alabama on that front. We're going to talk more about the college football playoffs. Your thoughts? Alabama not in. But, hey, what's next for Bama? Bama Hoops has a great opportunity this weekend. Don't know how many times it's ever happened, if it's ever happened, but within a 2-week period, Bama pretty much gets an opportunity to beat the number one team in the land, as they will definitely have their work cut out to beat Houston. But, hey, this was one of those teams last year that Bama did their thing against. Can they do it again? Can this young team get yet another win that puts them in a great position come March? So that's part of the conversation. And then also interesting post on the Tide website that Bill O'Brien, Pete Golding should be back. Agree or disagree? You can vent right here on the Martin Houston Show. that that was an interesting take. But if you agree, call up and tell us and explain to us why. I would love for someone to come up and tell me, is it because they coached Tom Brady? Well, I watched last night that Tom Brady won another game. It to me, then every coach that's ever coached in the NFL for the Patriots and now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're a great coach because they coached Tom Brady, uh, according to the justifications. Oh, and because they coached Bryce Young. I could coach Bryce Young, guys. I could coach Tom Brady, and my offense would be decent. So that's what we're going to talk about. Let's bring X into the program. I'm sorry, I have to do what I have to do. Hey, listen, before we move into today, always be excited about the fact that you're on this side of the dirt. And remember that this is the day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well.
So you were talking about the transfer portal, what Alabama can do against Houston this week, and of course that article that came out yesterday from Tide 109 saying that Bill O'Brien and Pete Golden should be back. So starting off with the basketball aspect, Alabama has a chance to beat the number one team again. It'd be the first time probably ever that Alabama has had this opportunity. And I think this team has the ability to do it. You know, they struggled a little bit against South Dakota State to finish the game. But this is a team that can score and score often. And they play pretty good defense for the most part. So I'm taking Bama with these young guys. I think they can pull it off this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen Houston play this year specifically, but I know that Houston traditionally is a pretty physical team. Aiden, Xavier, have either one of you guys got a chance to catch them play this year?
I have not caught them live, but I've seen highlights from a couple of their games through the year.
I went to the season opener against Longwood, and I got to see the scrimmage over the summer. The ones versus twos. These kids are fast. They're physical. They play with great intensity. They're so much fun to watch. Every minute is high energy from this team.
Yeah, no, I was talking about have you got to see Houston play? If Houston is the same team as last year's team, and the reason I asked that is because last year, remember how physical that game, how physical that Houston game was, and I thought that meant we were going to be a physical team, but we kind of tapered out down the end. And if you go back and look at the Connecticut game, UConn game, I would say the physicality is what separated UConn in that game. They were very athletic. They were big, but I think they were just physical. And at times they big board us. And so you wonder if Alabama's learned from that.
I think they have when you look at it from the standpoint of they've seen it now. They've had an experience with it. They can learn and grow from it. I mean, that game was close through most of it. And then it was down the stretch when UConn was able to pull away. But now that they're in that situation, they know how to respond to it.
Yeah, actually, they ended up, I think you could say that they ended up with, excuse me, 2 opportunities in that game. It was a 16-point stretch early in that game. And then they fought their way back, and then there was another like 17-1 run that separated. And other those 2 moments, they ended up playing them pretty close. And I think that was the first team that could physically rebound with them. And they had a couple of big boys that could get after it. And I don't know if Alabama ended up winning or losing the rebound battle, but that would be the most physical team I think they played. And what I think probably happened, X, is the fact that that they probably learned from it, and I don't know if you've ever seen a game where some people actually, like, athletes think they're ready and they get in and like they're just so much faster than you thought, and you can't prepare for it. And I think that may be the case here. That physicality was at a higher level than anything those young guys had seen. But hopefully that means that now, if Houston, like I said, I don't know what Houston does. I hadn't got to physically see them play, but I know that's kind of been part of their style, is they are a physical, aggressive type team. So that would be my thoughts there.
Yeah, I mean, when they're not as big as they have been in the past. They got a couple guys, 6'8", 6'9", about 230 to 250 is about that range of their size. So they've got some size on them, but Alabama, I think, matches up size-wise a lot better against Houston than they did UConn. And we're gonna go ahead and take a break. And on the other side, we'll talk a little bit more about the transfer portal and the article about if Bill O'Brien and Pete Golding should stay, and we'll get to Chuck Hunt on the phone.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we start our Tuesday morning. 89, yes, the Mercedes International Speedway, out at exit 89, the plant. You can expect delays. No other real problems to note, but if you do see conditions, give me a call. Townsend Nissan is in the Christmas spirit, the spirit of giving. They're giving you great deals. Go see them. Top dollar for your trade. I'm Captain Ray.
Tuscaloosa Locksmith sells key remotes, remote fobs, smart keys, car remotes, and Black Rifle coffee. They also do laser engraving. Tuscaloosa Locksmith, just off 15th Street behind the fire station.
Hey there, folks. Head fry cook Bob Baumhauer here, and I just want to say thank you for allowing Baumhauer's Victory Grill to serve you for 40 legendary years. When I first delivered Alabama's first taste of buffalo wings back in 1981, people thought I was crazy. For the first few years, I had to give wings away. Imagine that. 40 years later, I'm still proud to serve the great people and visitors of Alabama, our famous buffalo wings, and much more. Here's to 40 years of legendary fun, legendary food, and many, many more.
It's the Tuscaloosa Community Calendar, powered by Pepsi.
Give the gift of warmth this holiday season. Diamonds ITR is hosting a winter coat drive until Monday, December 12th. They're in need of new or gently used winter wear for children and adults. Without protection from the cold, members of our community are more vulnerable to cardiac arrest, hypothermia, and pneumonia. This is especially the case for our youth and elderly. Drop-off locations are Carrie Fitz Real Estate, Talecris Plasma Resources, Zoe's New You, Reggae Flava, Renaissance Bank, Movement Mortgage, and New Harvest Church of God.
Come one, shop all at the JCPenney Friends and Family Sale. Through Wednesday, use your 30% off coupon inside the JCP app and shine on with up to 60% off diamond solitaires and studs. Plus, get carried away with up to 70% off luggage from Samsonite, American Tourister, Skyway, and more. Anyone shops, everyone saves. We got your holiday. JCPenney. Offers valid on select items through 12/7. Offers reflect after coupon savings. Exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
See America in your new Burton Campers RV. Be certain with Burton. Burton Campers at exit 231 on I-65 in Calera. Nobody sells RVs for less.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly cloudy and very mild today with a few passing rain showers, the high 73. Tonight, showers ending this evening. Clouds will linger, the low 63. Temperatures near record levels tomorrow. A mix of sun and clouds with only isolated showers, the high 76. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 66 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at sophmarkdesign.com.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. I'm Xavier Houston, sitting in with Martin, and we're going to be breaking down a little bit of the college football transfer portal and what it means to Alabama with the number of guys that we have seen go ahead and enter the portal. Talk about a little bit of the guys that might go into it still and what that means for this Alabama team, even just for bowl season, as well as breaking down should Bill O'Brien and Pete Golden be back. But first, we're going to have Chuck Hunt join us on the Alabama One hotline. Good morning, Chuck. How you doing today?
Good morning, family. How are you all doing? Doing just fine over this way. The transfer portal has been quite interesting, and also I know this is off subject with, I know, but you tied in with Alabama as well. Let me bring the Alabama part into it. You all seen the news all over the place about Deion Sanders becoming the new head coach at the University of Colorado. That announcement made after they won the Southwest Athletic Conference Championship at Jackson State. They went undefeated, and they're about to play the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta against North Carolina Central. He had to get a private jet to Boulder. And he took his son Shadur and Tracy Evans, who he's dating, and his daughter. They all there in Boulder, going through the facility. And also, he had the press conference and introducing. He talked to the team. He was telling the Jackson State guys when he was addressing them, telling them them to watch it in the portal. But his message went to when he at Colorado. He gonna tell them, you can get into the portal. Because what he's telling them, telling them, hey, look, I don't know if this might not be the place for you. But he told the Jackson State guys. But I found out he's taking Travis Hunter, the 5-star, him and some others, and Shadur going to Colorado with him. And I'm going to bring the Alabama part into it. A guy, one of my coworkers who plays, he's on the college football team, here in the area, and he showed me at work yesterday on the phone that Trey Sanders, that Deion has an interest in Trey Sanders coming to Colorado, and also he has an interest in an Alabama assistant and a Texas A&M assistant. Now, I want to believe him when I see it.
Yeah, there's been news rumoring around that Trey Sanders has shown interest in going to Colorado. He tweeted out Sunday, I think it was, saying, hey, do you got room for me up there? Which I think would be a good fit for Trey and a good opportunity. And then, of course, I don't know about the Texas A&M assistant, but Charles Kelly, the safety and assistant DC, is going to be the one if there is somebody from Alabama. And there has been small rumors about Travaris Robinson, the cornerback coach, being a part of that as well. So, yeah, that's a little bit of the Alabama connection to it right now. And with the number of guys going into the portal, you might see a few more end up being linked with Colorado as well.
You're exactly right, Brother Houston. Hey, Xavier, your dad, remember this show when I had a thought when they started hearing, when he announced that he became the head coach of the University of Colorado. Brother Houston, I know you remember Mork and Mindy, Robin Williams from the Planet Ork. Nanu. Over Colorado. Now they have Deion Sanders making an entrance there. That show was on from late 1970s, early 1980s.
Yeah.
He was passed on, but now now Brother Sanders is in town.
That's right. It's going to be interesting. Thanks, Shad. It'll be interesting to see X. I had not heard that Kelly or Coach Robinson may be following Dion there. That would not surprise me, as there's a connection between Kelly and Dion, right?
No, I didn't.
Kelly was the defensive coordinator at one time at Florida State. So, yeah. Huh? I don't know how far his Florida State connection goes, but yeah, there was.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of the portal, when we look at the situation, Alabama had 3 more guys go in yesterday. Tommy Brockemeyer, former 5-star offensive lineman, JoJo Earl, former 4-star wide receiver, and Amari Kite, former 4-star offensive lineman. So that puts a total of 12 former Alabama players into the portal officially. All the other guys officially entered yesterday. What is that going to mean for Alabama? I mean, especially when you look at it, we've lost 5 offensive linemen to the portal already.
Well, I guess we'll talk about offensive linemen, but it's going to be interesting to me. We can circle back to is does one of the wide receivers who entered earlier get back out of it since Earl is in? So, but we can talk about that. But the 5 offensive linemen, Cohen, that hits hard. I mean, you're all talking about a 2-year starter. To me, a really good player, high-level player, and that was going to have the center of the offensive line pretty stout. You would have only been replacing the left tackle, in my opinion, with the new starter, because you'd have had Booker at one of the guards, Cohen at one of the guards, and McLaughlin at center, and then, of course, Latham at right tackle. And then Amari Kite was the backup to Steen. That didn't mean he would have made the starting job, but when that one time Steen got hurt in the regulation, Kite came in. So that was very interesting. But are those high level guys? As far as Kite and Brockemeyer, who has been potentially the biggest bust from an offensive lineman. So, and then I don't even remember who the other guys were. And you forget we had guys earlier. Dane Shore left before the season. So there's some numbers that's kind of down with that offensive line. And offensive line, you just need a lot of guys to be good. So that doesn't concern me as much, Xavier, because I think that there may be some. I know they went out and signed 6 guys this year, which told me that they probably had some concerns over offensive line as far as the talent they already had on campus anyway. And the other Brockemeyer brother didn't go in, right? Not yet.
Not yet. And so that's the interesting thing, that he could still potentially go in. Different situations. Tommy was the brother that everybody wanted, and James was kind of going to be the package deal. Excuse me. So it is interesting that he hasn't entered it yet. But we were talking last night amongst some of the interns, and Bama has about 10 offensive linemen for the playoffs. I mean, for the bowl season. So you're talking about barely being able to run a first team and a second team offensive line right now, strictly off of scholarship guys. You've got about 3 or 4 walk-on offensive linemen. So that's going to be really interesting to see how they approach that standpoint.
Yeah, and I guess the question, X, is will Steen even play?
Or eat.
And so it was this Dalcourt's senior year, or does he have a COVID year?
I think he has a COVID year.
I think so too.
He's a senior, and I think he participated in Senior Day.
So, and you know, well, Quinley, I think has been in the Senior Day a couple times, hasn't he? So, I mean, I'm just being funny, but I know he's been at least one Senior Day. But yeah, Ekiyor could be out, Cohen gone, and Steen possibly out. So you're looking at having McLaughlin. Maybe Dalcourt uses this as the last audition. So maybe he plays, according to Curtis Lewis, at one of those guard positions. Booker would be the other guard. Now, that may not be a bad offensive line if you can replace that left tackle, but where do they go? Because Damian George is already in the portal too, right?
Yep.
So very interesting.
Elijah Pritchett is the true freshman guy that I've seen play at the left tackle position in scrub minutes. So I guess that's where you would probably look at, maybe Kendall Randolph, for his final hurrah. Yeah, that's where you're really looking at as far as the offensive line.
And if you're going into a bowl game that doesn't matter, typical coach may not play the senior Randolph in front of Pritchett when you're trying to build for next year. But Saban very well with his loyalty to player thing may or may not play Randolph or not. We got a couple callers actually we need to get to, but I got a question. I'll throw it back to you on this. Is Saban's loyalty thing, meaning where he plays guys who at times may not be as talented as another guy, where he asks a younger guy with more talent to possibly wait? Is that going to backfire now that their portal exists? How does Saban make the adjustment if that's the case?
I definitely think it's an issue, but we'll get to these callers and then we'll touch on that on the other side. We've got Philip from Lynette joining us on the Alabama One hotline. How you doing this morning, Philip?
Hey, good morning. That to me it's pretty concerning. Not only the numbers of portals, but like the gentleman just said a minute ago, a lot of these guys were walk-ons and people that probably had never played a snap or would play a snap. But Cohen leaving and Amari Cohen was a head scratcher to me yesterday. Amari Kite, I kind of wanted him to get a shot over Steen during the year. So I don't understand what got him thinking that, the grass is going to be greener on the other side of the pasture, when I thought he had a pretty green pasture waiting on him in Alabama if he was willing to wait, because I think Amari could have played at Alabama a lot next year. And I wish he would have played this year. But right now, the thing that you got to ask yourself is, your running backs and your quarterbacks with a patchwork offensive line going against Kansas State, that could be brutal. And, do you want Bryce Young getting slung around like a rag doll in the bowl game because there's nobody to block for him? So I think they're at the point right now where they're saying, if we lose some more offensive linemen, do you even go to New Orleans?
I mean, that's a good question. I don't think these guys are going to back down from playing as a group, as a team, but I do think it would impact a guy like Bryce playing, like Jameer playing, and you'll most likely see what Alabama has going forward for next year in this scenario more than anything else. So I do think that Cohen leaving, potentially not having Ekiyor or Steen, I think you see, if that's the scenario, I think you see Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson and see what they have going into next year.
Well, they better be able to scramble.
That is the truth.
Thanks, Phil.
Yes, Phil.
That's good insight by Philip. I mean, and I always like to give my callers credit, X, and our listeners out there when they, those who may be putting stuff in on chat, when they nail something, say something, and I can go all the way back to 3 years ago when Curtis Lewis, I think, first started following my show. Probably, I guess, 3 years ago. And Curtis said, I can't remember, he calls it something, but he talks about Saban's loyalty. He said it's going to cost him somewhere down the road. And there was no transfer portal when Curtis said that. He just felt like at times, Curtis Lewis felt like at times that Saban would play guys because they had been in the program a long time. And that was going to end up costing Alabama. He doubled down on it last year, and he felt, and he's mentioned it on several players this year, and he even talked about specifically Leary being one of those guys that would be impacted by that guideline sometimes. And I can't remember who the other player. He specifically said a couple guys, linebacker-wise. Huh?
DJ Dale.
No, I'm saying. I was talking about guys who went into the portal already. If we see a defensive lineman go into the portal, DJ Dale will be one of those guys that he talks about as well. But I'm gonna tell you, so he said that, but listen to what Virgil Williams said, and this is so on point. Something that we probably need to talk about on the other side. X. Amari Kite is a direct result of what Saban said about transfers coming in. Steen came in from the portal. Saban put him in over the younger talent we had on scholarship. The mass exodus showing that there is no team mentality in that locker room, in my opinion. That's Virgil Williams. But what Virgil is talking about, and I want y'all to think about this while we're at break, is this, X. Remember, Saban said, if we go to the portal, we're going to the portal, and if we bring a guy in, we're bringing a guy in because he's better than what we have on campus.
Yeah.
So did Amari Kite show a lot of consistency and restraint by even playing through this year, if that's ultimately the reason he's leaving? Because now he's at a point, because sometimes you make a decision that you're out of here at the next time. You're just not going to quit on your team and your guys. So Amari Kite could have fought through this season the whole year knowing that this was coming because of that statement and that move. Is that showing up in other places? And then the other question I toss to you, actually, to maybe talk about, and I'll let you decide if we get to it. JoJo Earl in, does Leary come back out? That's a thought as well. Need to recognize one of our great sponsors, and that is Alabama One. Alabama One, great partner of the show. Great things going on with Alabama One. We just finished up our Black Wednesday sale. Great opportunity for you to save on that loan, and we appreciate all the great support there. Also, right now, we have a great opportunity for you to refer a friend, get 10, give 10. If you refer a friend and they open a qualifying account or get a loan, qualifying loan, then we'll put $10 in your pocket and we'll put $10 in their pocket. And there is no limit on how many you can refer. So go check it out, alabama1.org/refer a friend, and you can win. More great conversation coming up with Martin and Xavier on the other side.
This is a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update.
I'm Kim Rankin with your Tide Sports Update. 2 more Alabama football players have entered the transfer portal. Alabama men's basketball is ranked number 8 in this week's AP poll. The Alabama Crimson Tide will take on Kansas State in the 2022 All-State Sugar Bowl on New Year's Eve.
This has been a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update.
Run it again!
For more info on these stories and more, download the Tide 100.9 app.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we start our Tuesday morning with a wreck on 2059, yes, the Mercedes International Speedway, out at exit 89, the plant. You can expect delays. No other real problems to note, but if you do see conditions, give me a call. Townsend Nissan is in the Christmas spirit, the spirit of giving. They're giving you great deals. Go see them. Top dollar for your trade. I'm Captain Ray.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
It's the Tuscaloosa Community Calendar, powered by Pepsi.
If you have a community event in Tuscaloosa in West Alabama, tell us about it. All you have to do is email the information to TuscaloosaPSA@townsquaremedia.com. Be sure to include all the details, like the cause, date, time, location, and a good contact name and number. Email it to TuscaloosaPSA@townsquaremedia.com.
Has the pandemic affected your business? Even with more and more customers going online in the past 5 years, online business has grown greatly due to the pandemic. Now more than ever, it's important to have a strong online presence so that customers can find your business and products easily. That's where Townsquare comes in to help. Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis to see how your business stands up to the competition. And if you're one of the first to sign up, you'll get $500 in free advertising on this radio station. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
This Christmas, give your family the ultimate gift everyone will enjoy. A new boat from Boatworks in Northport. If you fish, Boatworks carries Camus Bass Boats by Earl Bentz and powered by Mercury Outboards. If you want to relax and cruise on the water, Boatworks carries Veranda and Viaggio pontoons, powered by Mercury Outboards. Give your family the ultimate Christmas gift this year. A new bass boat or pontoon from Boatworks, where they sell fun. Located in the old L&L Marine location on Highway 82 West in Northport.
When choosing a wireless provider, you're forced to compromise. But what if you didn't have to? What if you could get reliable service without a contract and save money? Introducing Total by Verizon, a new no-contract, no-credit check carrier for you and your family, with plans starting at just $30 a month on America's most reliable 5G network. Total by Verizon is available at totalbyverizon.com and at retailers nationwide, based on first-place rankings and RootMetrics first half 2022 5G assessments of 125 metros. Experiences may vary, not an endorsement.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show, with the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game. Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Mark Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Before we get back in on the topic of the transfer portal, we have Pat joining us on the Alabama One hotline. How you doing this morning, Pat?
Good morning, guys. Hey, are we going to be able to even field a team? I have not read where James Brockermeyer has entered the portal yet with the offensive line in the shape that it's in. That hey, James was the number one center in the country coming out of high school, and I'm wondering if he's going to stay.
That's a good question. Nobody knows yet because he hasn't said anything. And unfortunately for him, Seth McLaughlin has not left.
Well,
unless he moves to a guard.
That's how I was going to say. I mean, you know, Saban is notorious for. I mean, let me ask you a question, Xavier and Pat. X, sorry to interrupt you there, but listen, with McLaughlin, as good as he is at center, if someone can communicate at the level he can, would Seth McLaughlin be an awesome guard? He's faster, more athletic than most of our linemen. He shows. Think about this: Seth McLaughlin from center gets up to the linebacker. What could he do from a guard? What if we come in and we have a guy that pulls and uses that? Seth McLaughlin could very well be an All-American guard. Kind of a guy he reminds me of, not that he could move out to tackle, but just from a athletic potential versatility, he could be kind of like a Barrett Jones. You know, Barrett just kind of moved wherever was needed if another guy came in at a certain position. So, I mean, but think about that for a second. Would Seth McLaughlin potentially make an awesome guard based on how you use your guard play?
Yeah, from that standpoint, yes. His athleticism, him and Booker at guard would be a very good duo at that position. Now, the question is, could a James Brockermeyer, now that Tanner Bowles has left, be able to be a serviceable center?
Yeah, and that's the part we don't know. And I don't know. I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah.
You got anything else for us, Pat?
Yeah. I'd like to see a study done within the next 4 years of how many of these guys actually graduate that go into the portal, because Alabama has an extreme program for, if you don't graduate at Alabama, the help that you get as a student athlete at Alabama is unheard of. And a lot of other schools do not have anything like we have at Alabama.
But,
you know, a lot of times you had to get home, but you left. What do you think about that, Martin?
Well, I think that there's a lot out there that don't, but I think a lot out there have now, a lot of the bigger programs have now added that component to the graduation. And here's the thing. Let me tell you what else is backfiring on Saban. A lot of our guys, because Saban keeps them on campus year-round, Pat, a lot of our guys now graduate in 3 years. So I don't know if you guys have really thought about this, listeners, callers. Y'all need to understand, we lost 19 guys last year, right? So yeah. let's look at the team that played last year. We lost how many seniors, double-digit number of teen seniors from the scholarship side. This is not counting walk-ons or anything like that. Then you add 19 players. So that's 1.5 classes gone, right? Yep. Now you have another senior class leaving. And you already have 12 guys in before the first time they can leave. There's going to be a whole lot that's going to come back and fight for a job in the spring, that if they don't get it, they're going to leave. So you could potentially have loss. Right now, we're approaching probably it was 19 and probably 50, 35. So we've lost 40-something players off of the team 2 years ago by the time you add the transfer portal. And if you add the seniors from this class, you're now up to 50-something people that were on the team only 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, Pat. So what that means is you're going to have some older guys. You're going to have some older guys, and then you're going to have a bunch of sophomores and freshmen. We better hope that the recruiting has been right.
We better hope. We were laughing about, whenever they said there's going to be unlimited people that you can take in this year's recruiting class. Hey, might need them. Wow. But hey, you better be able to recruit. That's all I can say. All right. Martin, thank you for taking my call. Y'all have a blessed day.
All right. Hey, X, I'm gonna. What did you say?
I was just telling Pat to have a good one.
All right. Listen, guys who would have been in the rotation based on Alabama's roster. All right. Tanner Bowles, Tyler Booker, Tyler Steen, Emil Ekiyor, Seth McLaughlin, Elijah Pritchett, James Brockemeyer, Kendall Randolph, Graham Roten, Jackson Roby, Wilder Hind, all those walk-on, those three. J.C. Latham, Braxton Wetzler, walk-on. Terrence Ferguson, player. Javion Cohen, Darren Dalcourt, Damian George, Tommy Brockemeyer, Jayton Roberts, and Amari Kite. Of that, you only have Jayton Roberts, Darren Dalcourt, Terrence Ferguson, Kendall Randolph, James Brockemeyer, Elijah Pritchett, and Tyler Booker available.
Yeah,
I'm trying to. I don't know where you guys were getting. That was the guys who were listed on the roster. Now there may be some other guys. Whew.
Well, we were counting Steen, Ekiyor, and Dalcourt if they play.
Do what now?
We were counting Steen, Ekiyor, and Dalcourt. The seniors that can be here for the bowl game.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're saying the possible.
Yeah. We only got 8 guys plus this freshman class that'll be here next year, and that's if James doesn't leave and if nobody else leaves.
Wow.
Yeah, well, that's what we were getting at last time. But it's a concern. And now you're looking at having to go to the portal just for depth for next year's class, because I feel like you need, or next year's team, you need to have 15 to 18 offensive linemen that are scholarship guys to field a good competitive football team. So that's my standpoint on it. And then you turn around and, most of these guys are offensive guys. Tyree Jackson has been the only defensive guy so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so you're looking at, what is it? Is it coaching? Is it development? We keep talking about the 2020 and 2021 wide receiver classes. We're down to 2 guys left from that class. You only got Ja'Cory Brooks. You only got Ty Jones-Bell. He hasn't played. So from 2 classes, you only got 1 guy that has had meaningful minutes and snaps on the football field. And once again, there's that gap. You got the few sophomores, Isaiah Bond and Kobe Prentice, that have played a lot of football. Kendrick Law came on late, but now you're going to have a bunch of redshirt freshmen and Shaz Preston and Aaron Anderson and the guys that we bring in the 2023 class. That's a big gap. And I think Bond and Prentice is why you're not going to see Leary come back out of the portal, because those are the guys that took his spot.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Xavier, you're supposed to be cheering me up, man. I'm not feeling it right now. So the when you look at this, Curtis Lewis said that Georgia X had put 19 guys in the portal. And they did have, I think, 19 guys going to portal, but it was only a few scholarship guys that went in the portal, and that's the difference. We're
losing starters.
Huh?
We're losing starters to the portal.
Right. Well, no, it's not just what I'm saying is Georgia lost guys because they put even walk-ons that go and can put their name in the portal. Not every name that goes in the portal. When I say 19, I'm not talking about 19 football players from Alabama. I'm talking about scholarship players. Alabama lost 19 scholarship players last year and has lost 12. And now we're starting to get not just backup guys, but starters into the portal.
Yeah, and that's concerning when you look at it. And part of that, we're not sure why Xavier entered the portal, but I know, like you said, with Kai and Leary, you've got guys coming in from the portal taking positions, getting starting jobs almost immediately coming in. And Steen was very good for us this year. Burton left a lot to be desired. And what could have Leary done if given an opportunity? And, Holden was a starter at the beginning of the year and slowly saw his time and reps decline throughout the year. But that's a key depth out there that has experience and has been on the field.
Yeah. I'm laughing because Curtis said that Dion is telling Saban, thank you. They may not be big buddies when when Dion ends up taking a lot of Bama players. But, like I said, Bama has talent coming in. But, man, everybody needs to understand that last year's – we had all of this talent coming in from last year. How many of those guys from last year's recruiting class played this year? I'm talking about even got reps in mop-up duty. Not a lot, right? So
it was 12 or 13.
Yeah,
I saw where they broke out and said how many true freshmen played. And I want to say it was 12 or 13 guys.
Yeah, and that they played, but did they play at the level we've seen the 5 stars play? Prentice was going to be the breakout freshman of the year, and he just tapered off as the year went along. You have to start asking yourself a couple things. First of all, we had 4 transfers. I mean, wasn't this supposed to be like the cash cow of transfers? Tyler Harrell, Burton, Gibbs, and of course Ricks, and then Tyler Steen.
Yeah, these were supposed to be the guys.
Yeah,
these are supposed to be the guys that were taking it to the next level.
Yeah, and Larry Miller asked a great question. He said, "Is it the fact that we had 4 offensive transfers come in? Is that why we've seen so many offensive guys leave? Does it have anything to do with Bill O'Brien and his the way he runs things and plays guys?" There's a lot of questions and lack of answers to be desired. Is this the year of adjustment and transformation that gets Saban? Will and can he make the adjustments to be the best he can be moving forward? And that's yet to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked earlier about DC's report where he was talking about bringing O'Brien back, bringing Pete Golden back. And I'm telling you right now, like I know as an offensive guy, as a defensive guy, those guys have left me wanting more. And I don't know if I would be committed to coming back if I was some of these younger guys because, 1, I'm not getting on the field. And 2, the guys that are on the field, whether it's coaching or them, aren't performing to the Alabama standard. And I think that's a big issue. I mean, you've even got rumors of Ty Simpson potentially entering the transfer portal. And if he does that and Bryce doesn't play, we only have Jalen Milroe for the bowl game. So there's no competition to make him better heading into that game. And then, of course, you have the rumors of Grayson McCall, of Drake May, and a couple other quarterbacks potentially transferring to Alabama. And what does that do for the recruiting class? What does that do for Dylan Lonergan and Eli Holstein? It adds so many levels to what the portal can do to help and hurt you at the same time.
Well, I can tell you 2 things. First of all, Georgia lost 1,000 people to the draft, and you watch their defense this year. It wasn't the level of the defense of last year, but it was still better than our defense. And you think about how many first and second rounders that they replaced last year, and they didn't skip a beat as far as the level of defense they played. So they're developing players. All right. Number 2, X, is if we go out and get a quarterback, let me tell you what we're going to have next year. We're going to have that transfer and freshman. Don't be surprised if Jalen Milroe doesn't use this as an audition. I don't think Bryce Young is playing. Now, if Bryce Young, with the character he had planned to play, I don't think he's playing with the fact that all these offensive linemen are out of here, and that's who's going to be his protection. So I think he's out. And Jalen Milroe, you may use this as a audition game. And then you take this quickly into Ty Simpson. If you bring in McCall or any of these other guys, he's out of here. I think the kid he may stay in battle and then make a decision after spring, but you could very well go into next spring with a transfer or maybe a couple of transfers. And then I think the snowball is already forming at the top of the hill, X, with the impact of the transfer portal, that the biggest names on offense other than Bryce Young have been transfer guys, because you would say Gibbs was our best running back this year. You would say Jameis Winston last year from a wide receiver. Will the skill guys keep coming to the Tide to only be replaced by someone in the portal? It's a slippery slope. It can help you, but it can also hurt you. Closing thoughts, X, we got to get out of here. We got to get out a little early.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense to keep having stopgap guys, because when you do that, you're just telling the guys behind them, hey, we don't trust you. We don't believe in you. And that's why I think you're going to continue to see a mass exodus from young guys that you've never gotten to see or rarely got to see, because you're just going to replace them with an older guy that might be ready now.
Yeah. Man, there's so much to talk about, so much to get to, X, and we'll keep it going. I need to make sure that people understand the DC that's on our webpage is not the DC of DC Capstone Report. DC Capstone Report, that DC that's on the Tide page is a content manager for Tide 100.9. So the DC that's on our show would not have written that particular article or made those particular comments. And we can dig into that even more. Just FYI, I wanted to make sure that no one reads that article and thinks that that's the DC of DC Capstone Report that joins us each week. Hey, remember this: trust in the Lord, always lean out your own understanding, and all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide out there, everybody. We'll catch you on tomorrow.
We gon' celebrate and have a good time.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing LLC.
Tuscaloosa